Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What a freaking chapter, guys. What a chapter. It really does seem like this arc is going to be wrapping up, I guess, in a way where I thought they might not take it. We thought the heroes would be the one retreating. It seems like, for the time being, villains, well, in terms of Shigarashi, he's going to be the one that probably calls it off and is the one that, I guess, retreats. But man, we get so many answers here. Well, answered here. Well, mostly in terms of the whole aspect of how the whole vestige, Deku contacting and talking to them in these, I guess you could say, dream sequence area. We finally get that question answered, and the whole aspect about, all this whole stuff going on, which is very, very crazy. And man, this chapter was so good. And you know what's even crazier? We're getting this chapter in legit 5 days. The next chapter comes out in 5 days on Friday. This Friday, it comes out. What? Okay, Horikoshi's like, okay, you enjoyed this on Sundays. Let's give you something on Friday as a nice little, treat. So literally on October 16th, which is 5 days from now, we're getting the next My Hero Academia manga chapter. Dude, I'm gonna make 4 videos a day. 4 videos a day. Anyways, this is Kane for 15. I'm back at it with another video for you guys, and this is another My Hero Academia manga chapter review. This is My Hero Academia manga chapter 287. And it seems like the war arc is coming to its definite climax, especially with what we heard this this chapter at the end, with All For One telling Shigarashi, retreat for now. And then Toga at the end of the question asks a very interesting, or she wants to do something very interesting in terms of trying to talk to Izuku and Ochako in terms of where they stand on how far they will go to protect people, which again is a very interesting thing. Anyways, where we last left off with Nana Shimura saying that she would be taking care of what's going on in this alternate version, or this mind world of One for All and All for One. Anyways, Nana makes mention of the fact that not even, her death could prevent her from not seeing One or All for One all over again and stuff like that. Now, Deku automatically notices that that's Nana Shimura, and can I just say this about Nana Shimura, bruh? Oh my god, whoever married her is lucky, because, dude, she is... I kid you not, the first panel they show her, I'm like, we all knew Nana Shimura was thick, but oh my god, she's got some thighs. She definitely got an ass, bro. I've definitely got an ass. Oh my god, she's thick. Okay, enough with my fangasm of Nana Shimura and how thick she is, even though I can't help it. I can't. Jesus, My Hero Academia and them chicks, they always gotta make him. Damn it, man. I know a lot of people love Miracle because of her thickness, but damn, Nana Shimura and her. Oh my god, I wish I could have it. Anyways, All For One makes a mention of saying, oh, well, looky what I see there. It's Nana Shimura. I killed you. And he also makes a mention to Tori. He's like, look, it's your grandmother. And stuff like that. And he goes on to mention this, which I'm going to read it word for word from the manga chapter. And essentially he says this. And this is how All For One explains what the hell is the whole vestige power. The whole thing where, Deku, we've seen in the past, can interact with the vestiges in his, own mind. Anyways, he says this. We're in the middle of a transplant. There are stories of people's personalities There's stories of people whose personalities and tastes change after an organ transplant. Though it sounds rather oculate, there are plenty of supporting evidence. As for me, I am prone to the oddest dreams from time to time. In my dreams, those whose quirks I've stolen show up to hurl abuse my way. These episodes often leave me discouraged. Am I really capable of feeling guilt for my sins like some utterly ordinary person? So what he's saying here is when he was stealing people's quirks, in a way of like him going to sleep, he would actually see the people's quirks he's stolen, see their consciousness manifest within him, and he would be able to talk to them and stuff like that, or interact with them. And obviously the people he stole his quirks would obviously be throwing insults at him because they stole their livelihood, or he stole their livelihood, their powers essentially. He continues by going on saying, but here's the strangest part. Once I get rid of a quirk, its former owner stops haunting my sleep. Bizarre, no, especially since I'm certainly the type to hold a grudge myself. But with my work, with our good doctor, revealed the root cause. Just as organs and cells houses the memories of sorts, every quirk factor contains a consciousness, the individuality of its wielder, if you will. As someone with the power to meddle with quirks themselves, I found myself in the unique position of being able to interact with those consciousnesses, which that answers the question of how Deku is able to talk to previous users of One for All. And essentially, like I said, he relates it. It's like, a cell would have your entire memory of the person. Essentially, when you have another quirk in your body from somebody else you got, you not only have their quirk, but you have their consciousness, their individuality of a person they once were. And that's how Deku is able to contact people like Nana Shimura, or will interact with Nana Shimura, the first, user of One for All, Don Bongo, which is the Black Whip user. That's how he's able to get in contact and, talk with these people, because their individual quirks, which a lot of people brought up and mentioned in passing, is probably their quirks, the quirk manifested in One for All. But anyways, that's how, it happens, and that's how they're able to, talk to Deku and stuff like that. And essentially, like I said, it's their own personality, just in the consciousness of their own quirk factor. So we finally get the answer revealed of how, Deku's able to talk to the other vestiges of One for All. So yeah. Anyways, it cuts over to Shigarashi, and he makes a mention of Nana Shimura because he heard about what Gran Torino said about Shimura, and then he remembers back in the past about his grandmother. He goes on to say this, like, why were you? Now, All For One actually starts talking again because he's literally monologuing this chapter. He goes on to say, my blood kin, my little brother, who had the power to grant his own quirk to another, could also meddle with quirks directly. And he's talking about Deku, essentially. When his original quirk mixed with the power stalking one, the resulting power became a sleeper car to carry consciousness forward to the future generations. Anywho, he goes on, he's like, wouldn't you like to say hello, Nana Shimura? And stuff like that. Now, Nana's like, so you're Kataro's son. And, obviously this must have hurt Nana Shimura, like, inside, because Shigarashi, yep, he still says in his manga chapter, he's like, look, I don't give a damn if you're my grandmother. I still hate you because you ruined my life and stuff like that. And he literally isn't holding back with his grandmother that treated him with all this kindness and stuff like that. And I'm like, you just see, and they do a pan over to, obviously, the vestige of Nana, and she does put on not probably the best looking of faces, but a pretty stern one. But you can know it, she's probably hurting inside that, you know, she just heard her grandson say that with all his heart, he still hates her and stuff like that. Now, because of this hate he has, he actually throws a decay wave at her and stuff like that. Now, Deku makes a mention of the fact that the One For All world is eroding, but and One For All makes mention is like, good. You know, he's One For All really is sounding like the damn Emperor from Star Wars, which, funny enough, you know, Horikoshi loves Star Wars and he always brings all his references from Star Wars. And it's funny because All For One is like back in episode, you know, 6 of Star Wars when he was telling Luke, he's like, good, let the hate flow. Let it flow. You know, he's literally talking like the damn Emperor from Star Wars. He's just like, let the hate, you know, let the hate consume you and stuff like that. He goes on to mention the rule that only the will of One For All's wielder can affect it, but your rage is starting to eat away at that very rule. Now, Shigarachi's trying to also destroy All For One, who is literally sitting on his back like freaking Venom from the Venom movie, if you ever watched that movie. Anyways, he's like, that's right, you hate me too. And stuff like that. And he makes on the mention saying like, no, it's better fitting for the symbol of terror. But still, All For One's too much for Shigarachi to destroy. Then we see the first user of One For All, which is the original user of One For All, which is All For One's brother and stuff like that. And the brother says, so is he next in line, brother? All For One replies by saying, it's such a shame that I can never make you mine. And him saying like, it's a shame that I can never get you to agree with my standpoints and stuff like that. Now, the brother or the first user of One For All goes on to say this: we will never let you go, or we will never go to you. We have chosen to remain within this boy. And you see a great shot here, a great drawn shot with him standing over Deku. And essentially, you know, this whole scene and stuff like that goes on to say, and he blows back the decay wave and stuff like that. And essentially, you know, this is the which it was one of my confirmations of the fact that, yeah, I really do believe, I think One For All with its vestige power, they're going to inhibit Deku from getting his quirk taken because they know, like, no, this boy is the rightful user of One For All, which he explains later on and stuff like that. Now, All For One is like, show some power, Tomura. And this is when he goes on and kind of, well, All For One goes on in this monologue in mocking Deku and stuff like that. He goes away and says this: combine your strength with my own, and we can steal them away. They are but a couple departed people who fell to me. He goes on to say, brother, you claim you've chosen this. No point in bluffing when I know the truth. I've seen it all through Tomura's eyes. This incredible power has been wasted. And he's talking about Deku. Which, fun fact, a lot of people will still somehow feel like Deku is a waste of a character, but anyways, he goes on to say this in his thing. He's, like I said, right now he's trashing Deku for, and All For One, he's essentially saying, like, in a summary terms, he's like, this boy really deserves, you're saying this boy, brother, deserves the power of One For All? Look at him! And he goes on by saying, he's like, this is wasted on one who could protect neither friend nor teacher. They were forced to defend him, in fact. Which, time and time again, you know, Deku has had people defend him, you know, time and time again, you know, over and over and again. All For One goes on to mention, what's more, like his master, he's given himself over to blind rage. He finds himself immobilized, squirming helplessly, watching on his own. Conferring this power to someone so worthless was a mistake. So he feels like Deku's like, dude, you really entrusted this? You really want to trust this guy with this power? Man, he's worthless. He's garbage. He's trash. And, obviously Deku's hearing all of this and stuff like that. But then the brother's like, it wasn't a mistake. He goes on to say, someone who exploits people like you can never understand. What drives this boy to shed blood? He rages for the sake of others. For them, he does his best until he can do no more. This young man is possessed by a drive to save other that eclipses all common understanding. And this is the moment where you see Deku finally start to move in this world. And that's when he gets the inspiration to move. And the last thing the users of One For All, the first user of One For All says is, our power is his, and we shall follow him. And I heard that, I was like, that's a great line. That is a great line. So the previous messages, thanks to the first user, they said, look, he has something that is different than most people, which obviously has been a huge thing that is about the Deku character, is how he's different than just most heroes typically are. And the fact that they're like, nah, we're backing this dude because, this is the power we granted him and it's his power and we are going to follow this guy, which I literally marked out. I was like, let's go. Anyways, we cut back to what's happening on the outside. There's this big explosion. Shigarashi and Deku both split apart. And Deku's like, did my quirk get stolen? But obviously it's not stolen. All for one in Shigarashi's head says, Tomura, my quirk has not fully settled into your body, so you couldn't summon the power to steal his quirk. So it's confirmed here, One For All is not stolen. All for One goes on to mention by saying, don't black out. Your body must achieve completion. Retreat, take stock, and fight to live on. Deku, in this meantime, while he's beaten and bruised, he's like, please, Shigarashi, please do not start moving again. At this point, Deku's like, look, fuck this shit. I'm done fighting. He's like, I can't move anymore. Hopefully he can't freaking move anymore as well. Anyways, we see Dabi and the other League of Villain members, and Dabi's like, Shigarashi's fighting Endeavor. Nice, let's prep. And one of them's like, okay, prep for what? And it said, Dabi's like, okay, to tear down this big hero society. So that thing is still a thing. Now, we see Mr. Compress and Toga talking to each other. Now, Mr. Compress asks Toga if she's alright, and stuff like that. And he goes on to mention, like, you've been scanning for the UA students, haven't you? And this is when Toga asked the very interesting question, because this happened before. Now, she asked, Mr. Compress, he's like, where do you think those UA students draw the line? And what she's talking about is she's referencing the death of oh my god, how do I forget his name? Twice. She's referencing the death of Twice and how Hawks went the distance in killing him. And the thing she's asking is, she wants to know how far will, we already know the League of Villains do not like the current society of heroes. They do not like it. What Toga was asking the question, what she wants to know is this. Those UA students always get in our way, but they never really harm us, or they really are not trying to kill us. She wants to know, really, where do they draw the line? Will they kill a villain if necessary? Or will they spare their lives and say arrest them and put them in prison? And stuff like that. And she goes and say this, if heroes are supposed to save people, then was Jin not considered a person? Which is a very interesting question she asked there. Which, I'm like, good question by Toga. She may be crazy, but, she's not wrong, because Twice was a person. He was a person. And she goes on to say, like, will they kill me too? And the chapter ends up by saying, that's what I want to ask Izuku and Ochako. Depending on their answer, I'll be fine. And that's when the chapter ends off, and you see the panel under, Toga's panel, You see Ochako. So are we potentially getting Ochako versus Toga based on the answer Ochako gives, as well as Izuku? And maybe this is why Toga has the whole so-called fetish with Izuku and Ochako. From the standpoint, she wants to know where they draw the line. You know, and like I said, we know to Toga's, those are the two most, you know, Ochako and Izuku, or Deku are the most, you know, characters connected to Toga in that aspect. So, you know, it's going to be very interesting what their answers are going to be. Especially Ochako's answer. You know, we might get an idea of what Deku might say if Toga were to present him the question. The question is, what will Ochako say? You know, it's going to be very interesting. Toga asked a very good question, and yeah, and stuff like that. But anyways, this is a good chapter. Like I said, it seems like the climax is definitely happening to this arc. But it seems like the climax is not happening in the way we thought it was going to happen. We thought it was going to be the heroes that were going to be the ones that would retreat and be like, okay, let's go away and maybe retreat to some undisclosed location. But it seems like because Shigarachi is damaged and he still has not, you know, his body's not yet completed with the all-for-one power, it seems like he'll probably retreat and live to fight another day. Which, okay, it seems like a pretty good way to, I guess, I would say, make this a draw, essentially. Like a draw for the time being, even though the villains to this extent are the winning side and they have the slightly upper hand. But like I said, things could still get intense. Toga wants to ask Izuku and Ochako their feelings on how far they will go. Now, knowing those two characters, I don't think they'll go the distance in saying they would kill a villain. The thing is, I feel like both characters would definitely say, listen, we'll do our best to try to convince them to say, why are you doing this? And if they're not going to listen, we'll just bring you in and hopefully we can do something and try to change you from within prison. So it's going to be very interesting where this goes. But like I said, you know, we're definitely getting, you know, close to the climax. And I'll be shocked if Horikoshi, you know, continues to give us more constant chapters and stuff like that. And with no 2-week breaks or something like that. I could definitely see maybe we get a 2-week break, like maybe after next chapter on Friday, because that's really unheard of. And honestly, I think depending on how crazy the next chapter gets, I say we Horikoshi really deserves a break. But again, like I said, people who rip on Horikoshi, man, you cannot. One, you got to get lost, and two, you got to give credit. When this arc is finally over, I'm going to give credit where credit is due to Horikoshi, because this man, he made, if not right now, the best arc in My Hero Academia. Twists and turns, and I said it before in so many other past My Hero Academia reviews, I said I cannot wait to see this arc animated. And when this arc is animated, God, it's going to be great. And yeah, so like I said, we're going to be expecting a climax, maybe in the next couple of chapters. Maybe in the next, I would say, probably 290 range of chapters when the climax can end. We're already at 87, so 288. I think somewhere in the 290 manga chapter range is when we're going to get the end, and we're going to get, you know, climaxes, characters that might kick the bucket, or are probably going to be like they're out of commission in terms of they're going to have to retire early because they just taken too much damage to fight. And obviously we're going to see the rebuilding of Japan in this dark era, as well as it seems like our cast of characters are definitely going to get stronger, which, like I said, hopefully the big thing is, a lot of people have been asking, hopefully we get a time skip. And when I mean time skip, not another month time skip. Like maybe to have one more arc with this cast of characters where they're currently at now, but then give us a time skip like maybe 5 years, a 5-year later time skip. I would like to see a 5-year time skip where the League of Villains really don't do much of anything and our characters just really train to be prepared for the threat incoming, which, you know, we can probably have maybe 1 or 2 more arcs with the post time skip characters of My Hero Academia, and then we can get the final conclusion to the story. Honestly, I feel like that's how they should go that route, because I'm not trying to say Horikoshi's trying to follow the One Piece thing, but it would be really due to get a yearly time skip, or a number of year time skip, whether it's 2 years or, say, like I said, 5 years. Because after this incident, it's like, nah, I think we should have a time skip where characters are much more determined to train to get stronger. And then we get a time skip and we see the characters obviously much more older. By the time, they'll probably be pro heroes and stuff like that. And, you know, they'll see where it goes. Or heck, maybe, you know, they have to stop everything entirely together. So that means like no more schools for the time being. And, you know, like I said, that's when we get a time skip where the characters train to get stronger. And then we get a few arcs, you know, with the new increased strength of these characters and stuff like that. Come back together, and then you can get the conclusion to the storyline. Or the conclusion to the story and then stuff like that. But yeah, My Hero Academia was a great, and I mean a great chapter today. I can't wait to see Friday's chapter, which I'm shocked that they're even giving us an early chapter this early at the end of the, well, not the end of the week, but somewhat near the end of the week. But yeah, but I'm looking forward to Friday's chapter. Thank God I have nothing, you know, classes on Friday. But other than that, anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day or night, or whenever you're checking out this video. And yeah. So like this video if you leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts about this manga chapter, and hit that subscribe button. If you want to not only get more My Hero Academia manga chapter review content, but by next year we'll get My Hero Academia season 5. So yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. Until then, guys, peace and stay safe out there.